So today I just wanted to take a quick look at the 2012 film Mother's Milk. This is definitely an interesting film because it features a college professor who abducts young women solely for the purpose of wet nursing, basically, So obviously it opens with a scene in which he is killing a woman. We really don't know why, and obviously we see that he moves on to his next victim. So he abducts a young woman who is jogging in a park. She has a stroller with her. He assumes the child is hers. And if I remember correctly, it actually happens to be the girl's niece. So no cigar. So he's obviously chosen this next victim. She's not pregnant. She's not nursing. She pretty much is of no use to him, but he decides that he wants to work with her. So his first attempt to induce lactation is a form of massage. Obviously this fails. He then attempts hormones, which once again fails, and ultimately impregnates her via a turkey baster, which, definitely very attractive. So also just very early on, this also implies, or it just shows that he has this aversion to physical contact, closeness, sex, what have you. Basically, to me, this just says that even though he's this vile character with this strange obsession, I guess you could say, he, to a degree, he's retained his childlike innocence. So obviously he's a college professor, but there's this aspect of hindered mental development, I guess you could say, just in the sense that his brain or his mind has not progressed to that degree, which, luckily for the young women that he abducts, because they have no fear of being misused, other than the fact that he plans to nurse off of them, which in this case, it's very interesting because you do develop a sense of Stockholm, where the girl eventually, I guess, comes around, but to a degree he also takes a liking to her. But initially there is a scene where he's trying to get her to eat liver. She doesn't care for it. So right off the bat, this is a test of wills, and we see that she is, I guess you could say, a strong person. She's very stubborn in her own way. She refuses to compromise on this, and obviously he starves her out. She eventually starts eating the stuff, and they resume normally. So they, from then on, just continue to have cooked meals together. It's really not stated why he thinks it's a nice gesture to go downstairs and actually have like an actual home-cooked meal with his abductees, but for some reason it's a thing that he does. So I guess he's trying to be social to a degree. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, she eventually, I guess you could say, comes around to a small degree, and we do see that he begins to take a liking to her. So apparently this obsession that he has with wet nursing isn't necessarily a fetish. It's more of, I guess you could say, an oddball obsession that he had picked up because he, as we discover later on in the film, he nursed into older childhood off of his mother. So, I guess they're just sort of implying that you shouldn't nurse a child past a certain age. Some people do, whatever, but obviously you have that prolonged nursing issue going on. Obviously the mother also died, and we do realize, or we do find out, that it was his fault. But for some reason he has retained, I guess, that the nursing as his only sense of closeness to a person. So they, like I said, they do carry on. The film really isn't a horror film per se. It's not really much of a thriller either. I would say it falls more into a drama, considering the subject matter, even though it's not too dark. I guess you could call it a gray drama. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting film. They do develop the characters. You've got decent dialogue and whatnot. And then, of course, once he does begin to develop a liking to her, he kind of has a Norman Bates moment. So he attacks the woman. He doesn't actually kill her or anything, but he basically bites off her areola, obviously including the nipple. So, you know, and of course, the breast tissue itself is all full of nerves. It's very sensitive. One can only imagine how terrible something like that must feel, especially the fact that it would continue to burn hours and days later, you know, obviously being harmed in such a sensitive area. But it's kind of like this weird retaliation, I guess you could say, because he, like I said, has that Norman Bates moment where his phantom mother, I guess, really doesn't want him getting too close to anyone, but he has feelings for this young woman. And I guess you could say it's displaced anger to a degree, so he just kind of lashes out and attacks her. But yeah, I mean, throughout the course of the film, I mean, it's known that she does not care for this guy. She wants to get away from him, and she pretty much wants to do whatever it will take to get away. And she eventually does get her moment. I won't tell you guys how she manages to get out of there safely, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a film with like a lot of action, a lot of events, that is not the film. This is more of a talking heads film. There's definitely a lot of character development. I would say yes, it's very well told, but I mean, if you are one of those people that easily become bored, I would say go with a different film, because this is definitely more of a character study. You know, we're definitely seeing how the young lady reacts under stress, how this guy is reacting to and manipulating her. But yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting film, not necessarily of the fetish category. This is pretty much one of the ones from my discard pile, but you know, I still thought it was definitely one worth taking a look at. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.